Alright, what's up everybody? Well, we're back in this 2003 Chevy Silverado, and today's mission, we're going to replace the blower resistor as well as the connector for the blower resistor. This is based off of a video I just released, which was about the blower staying on with the key off. I've got a ratchet with a 7/32 inch socket on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. So now we've got him out of here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to push up on that little notch right there while I'm trying to push the connector away from the blower motor. It was really hard to see what I was doing, but I was just trying to push this guy down while I was working this thing out. So this is our old blower motor resistor. Inside this case there's actually a relay in here. This relay right here is what I believe to be the problem in this truck with the blower staying on with the key off. It's not serviceable, it's part of the assembly here. So this part by itself is you know, it's not just the little resistor card, it's also the relay. This is the new part that we're going to be using here. We just went with AC Delco just because we can. There's different companies that make their own little parts or whatever. You can use whoever you want to use, but we're just rolling with AC Delco here. This thing isn't like endorsed by AC Delco, this video that you're watching, you know. It's not like I'm trying to give you guys a sales pitch where, oh, you have to use the Delco parts. And nah, we don't roll like that. So the design's a little bit different. I don't know what we're going to get into with that. We're going to find out. When Chevy was footing the bill for this repair, they went ahead and they also put in a new connector. And the way I look at it is, if Chevy's going to pay for this on their dime, there's a reason for it. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and replace both of these right here. I don't know what would happen if you were just to do the resistor by itself using the old connector, and I don't want to find out. I don't think they woke up one day and said, hey, let's give everybody a free connector too, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and bang both of them out. This is the part number of the connector that we're using here. The way I do these things when I'm rewiring a connector is I kind of draw my own diagram just so I don't fucking forget which wire went where and the what. You know what I'm saying? So all I'll pretty much do is just draw a rough, you know, overview of what I'm looking at, and I'll indicate the top as here. So then I know I have brown, I have yellow, I have what looks to be purple, light blue, black, orange, red. Sorry, I kind of got off camera there. I don't have my camera woman with me today. I'm kind of rolling solo on this. So brown, yellow, purple, light blue, black, orange, red. So we're not going to actually just show crimping every last fucking wire on here. I decided to use the crimps that came with these. AC Delco will usually include these when doing stuff like blower motors, fuel pumps. Can't remember anything else off the top of my head, but you know, people on the forums know me as a stickler for soldering things. And I think that if I soldered this up, you guys might not consider this to be do-it-yourself. But crimping on some new ends here, pretty much do-it-yourself. So like I said, we're going to splice in this new connector and go from there. Now when I splice these things in, what I do is I like to stagger my cuts, because the last thing I want is a big ball of fucking butt connectors on here. So we've got a pretty good length of harness here that we can tie into. I'll probably start my cuts here, you know, down here close to the connector, and as I get farther down, you know, I'll make my cuts you know, maybe a ½ inch apart or so. I'm gonna get this thing prepped up to be cut up, and then we'll be back. You can kind of see how I kind of staggered the cuts a little bit. I kind of fucked up here with the orange one, but it's whatever. It's still gonna work. We got some pretty long leads on here. I mean, in reality, we probably could like leave these pretty long and then just kind of secure the harness up there. You guys can do it however you want to do it, but I think I am going to trim about half the length of this harness off of here, just because this is some pretty long shit right here. So this is kind of what I ended up with here for the new connector. I kind of also staggered the cuts a little bit, try to match what we've got up there. All we're going to do for our next step is just go ahead and kind of prep this bad boy. Probably going to strip about that much or so enough. Strip off enough insulation so that we can get up into this butt connector about that far, about a 1/4 inch or so. So I've got the connector all stripped off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same here to the existing harness. I guess there's another fun fact. I didn't disconnect the battery for this job either. I do have the underhood fuse pulled, so that way I don't have power on this red wire. This red wire will have power with the key off. Alright, so let's get ready to crimp. So I've got my wire crimpers here. It looks like that these connectors have the seam run up where the print is. So of course I'm going to want my stake side to be opposite of the seam. Looks like those non-insulated crimpers kind of deform this tubing, but this tubing can actually be heated up with a heat gun, shrunk down. So we're just going to wash, rinse, repeat for the other ones. So this is kind of how our vehicle harness is kind of looking right now. So now it's just a matter of splicing our new connector side in, and we'll go from there. So while I'm doing this, I'm always going to be referencing this connector to make sure I get everything right. You can see I kind of staggered the cuts on the new connector to kind of match what I've got going on with what I cut off. So it's just a matter of matching up our wires and crimping this in to the existing harness. I always find it's a little bit easier to do your longest lead first and work your way down. So, looks like we got everything all tightened up here on this end. I'm just going to go back and I'm going to blip these with a little heat gun. These kind of have like that shrink tubing coating on them, which is kind of like why I used my non-insulated crimpers with this, because this doesn't, in my opinion, this isn't really like the insulation that you'd find on like a standard butt connector. This is pretty pliable stuff right here. It's not like that hard plastic on your insulated connectors. So go grab some power for the heat gun and give it hell. If by some chance you did like pierce this kind of stuff, you can always go back and wrap it up with a little bit of tape if you want to go ahead and tape it up. And ladies and gentlemen, Peanut is making an appearance. Hey buddy. Hey bud. You helping out? You little dog? Are you a little dog? So like, I don't know, I can kind of feel it right here that it, the crimpers kind of pierced this right here. So I think just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap a little bit of tape up on these guys. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bang our resistor back up in here. Yo, ever since you replaced my blower resistor, now my horn goes off on its own. We're gonna go ahead and plug this connector back into the blower motor, and we can plug our new connector into the resistor. So we're gonna take our blower fuse, get him back in there. Right off the bat, the blower didn't turn back on, so I think we're good there. So you want to go ahead and turn that key on there, boss. You don't have to start the truck. All right, so we got 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. So turn it to 5 and then turn the key off. Sweet. All right, the reason why you can pull that fuse and still have the other speeds 1 through 4 is because there's 2 separate fuses that power the blower in this truck. When you're operating the blower on speeds 1 through 4, power comes from this fuse right here. Speeds 1 through 4 go to the resistor, and they go through the normally open contacts of the relay. and allow the blower motor to on 1 through 4. When you turn the blower switch to number 5, what happens is the blower wire from number 5 comes down and it turns on that relay. It closes the contacts, and then power comes from that under hood fuse. It comes straight down and goes right to the blower motor. So this is how the blower can work, you know, on 1 through 4 without the fuse that's technically labeled blower, you know, removed. That's kind of how that all works. This video does not cover what happens if there's something on this side that, you know, retains power with the key off. That would be something along the lines of an ignition switch fault or something like that, where even though you've taken the key out, the ignition switch might not have fully turned to off. Now, when I did some research on this, just by looking at the wiring diagram, I had a pretty good idea that the relay inside of the resistor is the fault. I did a little bit more digging in this, and what I noticed was there was a extended service coverage for some of these trucks. I think it went up to 100,000 miles or 10 years. I did a VIN check on this with my local dealer, and this vehicle does not, this vehicle is not covered by that, so the repair's out of pocket. What I noticed is that when Chevy was footing the bill for this, they didn't want just this resistor replaced. They also wanted the connector replaced as well. And my point of view is that if they're going to pay for the connector, you know, on their dime, there's a reason for it. And I'm not really going to get into the science behind that or how all that shit works. My big concern, like every other time, is I just want the truck fixed right. And if Chevy's going to go ahead and pay the bill for also replacing the wire harness, I'm going to do the exact same thing, because there's a reason behind it. Alright, so there you have it. We replaced this blower resistor, blower connector. Everything's working like normal. My man doesn't have to worry about, you know, the blower staying on with the key off. This blower resistor and connector replacement is also the fix if, you know, you lose one or more of the speeds. I know my father-in-law's truck right now, it doesn't work on speed 3, 2, or 1. I don't think I'm going to come and just double dip this video, but at the same time, I might show that video as far as the diagnostic side, because we really didn't have that problem with my man Jay's Silverado, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to do the same thing we've been doing for season 3. I think this is actually, even though we're 4 videos in, this is actually the second repair video that we can actually compare our savings to what you guys would have spent at, you know, your local shop, whether it's independent or a dealership, you know what I mean? And we're just going to keep on trucking on to the next, you know what I mean? So thanks for watching. As always, you like what you see, subscribe to my shit, you know what I'm saying? I guess we got one more thing to show. We're going to install our little Rock Auto magnet. I know I talk about Rock Auto a lot for the parts that I use, but this isn't like a paid advertisement or nothing. It's just that they, for the most part, have the best prices, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't like no fucking commercial or no shit like that, you know what I mean? Word up.